there's been a lot of debate about how many circuits DJs should require in their contract for their DJ gear. And I was reading one today. He was saying that he was going through and he's kind of listing what he had for a system. He's like, I think I need 4 circuits from what I'm figuring out here with all my gear and such. First off, I wanted to kind of get an idea of what you guys, if you have some sort of a rider or anything within your contract to say, I need to have X, Y, or Z when it comes to power. And then we'll kind of dig into how you would figure out if you were going to be, how you feel you're figuring out if you're going to be safe with what you have. And then we'll dig into the other stuff in a second. So, Kevy, do you have any kind of a rider? Or
I am. Yeah, I do. Well, yeah, I'm not going to get a good answer on this one. We do have it in our contract, a number of circuits. Do not ask me what it is right now, but it is in there. But we basically just need a standard outlet because our lights are tube lighting, so they're battery operated. We're not really pulling a lot of pulling a lot of power, so I just want a standard outlet.
Mm-hmm. Dan, what about yourself?
So I used to have it into my contract that I needed access, and it was like a proximity to 2 different outlets is the way I worded it. Did I need the 2 outlets? Absolutely not. It was just one of those precautionary type of deals. So that way, 1, I wasn't running everything off of 1 extension cord, and 2, if they decided to put, their crock pots on the one, it gave me a second one that I could kind of go to. So that was the reasons. I would recommend, and this is I almost feel like this was a Ben Stowe question. Seriously, like, why are we?
Well, yeah, but you're in the field. You're actually doing it. So now, do you require, or how do you,
No, I don't require anymore for the same reason that Cubby said. Like, I can run everything off of a 15 amp circuit. Like, I don't even need a 20 amp. Like, if everything that I have in my system can run off of 15, even when I'm doing my big school events, because the speakers have become way more efficient. And everything else, my computer charging probably is the one that draws the most power. But I would definitely recommend picking up an amperage meter, a voltage meter, and plugging all your stuff into it and seeing what your draw is. Because just because somebody says, oh, it should probably be okay, like that's the easiest way to know exactly how much you're pulling. And maybe there's some nuance about your system that's causing it to draw more than what we might realize. Something might be faulty and you don't know it. So, they're really inexpensive. While Cubby was talking, I was like, I know I have one on my shelf over there. I just don't know where it is. But I would pick one of those up. And like I said, they're pretty cheap for the most part.
Yeah, that's what Dan's referring to is the kilowatts. And I'm just going to put the link in the chat there. Cause we use those quite often. If we'd be having this discussion 30 years ago when we had incandescent light bulbs and we had Vertigos that had 2 300-watt bulbs in there, so the Vertigo is drawing approximately 650 watts each time you turned it on. Well, you take 2 Vertigos, 650 plus 650 is 1,300 watts, and you are going to get approximately 1,500 watts of power out of a 15 amp outlet. So you basically 2 Vertigos would be 1 circuit. Then your speakers at the time, our amplifiers were not quite as efficient as they are today. So you'd figure if you were running 2 amplifiers on another outlet, you were there. And then if we had any other lights, say we like floodlights. Hey, yeah, we got 8 floodlights up there. They're 300-watt floods. Well, if all 8 of them are on, 300 times 8 is 2,400. So I need to have each of those trees technically on their own circuit. So now I'm up to 4 circuits. And that's not even with any strobes, because I've got 1,500 watts strobes back there with the big Xeon bulb or whatever they were. I mean, I'm sure Dave mentioned lighting was the big problem. There were times we had 8 circuits to run just a high school show, and not even a really big high school show. Today, that whole thing with LED technology and things could be run much easier. Much easier indeed. So,
especially with the amount of battery units that we have.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, there's ways to even get around the draw of power. But I do not have anything in my contract anymore when it comes to that. I do have clients that ask about that on a regular basis, where they're like, "Hey, now how much power do you need?" Because we're getting kind of allocating a room. It's like, if I have just an outlet, but I'd like to have it by myself, I'm good. I can make that work. Oh, well, there's 4 outlets back there, and they said those outlets are on 2 different circuits, and they're all for you. gee, I'll suffer.
I just love when the tent lights are on the same circuit as us.
Yeah, that I had one of those this summer where they started out and it was going to be, and it's like, well, I looked at it, and it's like those are LED, right? And they're like, no, those aren't. Those are some of our old Christmas lights. It's like, ooh, can I get another cord or another outlet, and I'll run my cord from wherever that is? Oh, well, you have an outlet right behind you that you can use that one. We'll just move our Christmas lights down the way. Yay! Yay!
But those big roasters, white roasters, do suck a lot of power.
But they make the greatest pulled pork sandwiches.
Yes, but they do pull a lot of power. Just make sure you're in a separate circuit than them.
Yeah, but I mean,
there's lots of them.
As long as they're letting me to eat the pulled pork sandwich, I mean, I can, you know. Well, my sound system burned out,
just
but
for that time.
What was that, Dan?
You'll unplug a speaker just so that you can get a sandwich.
Yeah, who needs bass? We're having pulled pork sandwiches. Lights? We don't need no stinking lights. Laptop? Yeah, if the battery runs out, so we'll all sing along. It'll be great.